So we're gonna talk about the new one lens only, guys. Stay tuned because I have surprised myself and went for a glass that I was not expecting to purchase. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thomas Love here from One Lens Only, and today, guys, I have a new One Lens Only. What is it? It's big and bulky. It is not what I normally purchase. I was happily using my Sony Zeiss 24-70 f4, but then I started seeing some limitations. Now, I wanted to change style because I'm normally feel that I'm stuck in the 90s, and so even the stylistic choice that I make every day, even the framing and also the gear that I purchase belong to that particular era, and I felt that I always needed either a Leica or a Zeiss glass to perform and to have a good image quality. But this is not the case because the Zeiss that I have initially, if you follow the channel for a while, then we will have a full review about the new Sony A7C Mark II that I had. But I had to switch and change glasses every now and then, thing that I normally didn't do when I was using my Leica Q2. I always used that beautiful Samilux 28mm for more than 4 years. But now this camera came with the 28 f2 by Sony. There was a good glass, not so sharp, but also some limiting, and so I eventually purchased and switched to Zeiss 55 f1.8. But then in Europe, I felt that the 55mm, it's a bit too tight, especially for street photography, because we don't have that much space that I was used to when I was shooting street photography in Vancouver, beautiful British Columbia. We had much more space, even in between the two lanes of the street. You have, everything is wider, and so 55mm here, it was a bit tight, reason for which I switched to a zoom glass. I normally prefer using primes, and then eventually this 24-70 f4 for Zeiss because it has also the optical stabilization in the glass that, combined with the IBIS in the camera, was giving me a kinda on par to a gimbal stabilization, only to realize that I'm not used to vlogging that much anymore for the very same reason that we don't have enough space here and everything is packed with tourists. And so in an optical of evolution, I saw that this brand new Sony 24-50 G glass was eventually what I was looking for, because when it's contracted, when it's not zoomed out, it's at 50mm, which is great for street photography, and eventually you can zoom out and have the 24mm wide glass that I was using for landscapes or for videos. Now, bearing in mind that my camera is cropping in 50% when you switch to 4K 60, I started evaluating a Tamron glass, the 20-40, that has exactly the same thing. When it's not expanded, it's 40mm, and then eventually you zoom out to 20mm. But then I started seeing some reviews of that glass, which is not so good. You know, I am spoiled with image quality. Now, a long story short, once I latched onto Tamron, I started evaluating other zoom glasses, eventually the 28-200, but still it was compromising on image quality, thing that I'm not willing to do, and then I ended up with the 28-75 G2 glass. Now, it just arrived, so I just did the unboxing, I just mounted it on my camera, and how does it feel? It feels bigger than usual because I normally had smaller glasses on this small camera body, but since I have big hands, this will not be a problem. As a matter of fact, I start feeling at home because I was used to the grip to handling of the Sony A7R3, which is an older model, which is a bit bigger model, which is easier to match with bigger glasses. While with this camera, which is eventually smaller than my Leica Q2, I had to add this grip that came with the camera, because if you remember, if you follow the channel for a while, you know that it was new to me, this camera, so it came with the grip and with the 28 f2, and I have to say that with this grip and with this glass, now it starts feeling more like a camera. Now, what about this glass? I still have to go out and try it. I still have to see how it performs for videos and how it performs for photos. I saw enthusiastic reviews, But one thing that I have to try is to see whether I can match these magnetic glass filters. And so eventually I have the lens cap here and the adapter here. The only other thing that I'm struggling with ever since I switched from Leica to a different system is that I was not able to use these magnetic filters and the lens hood. Thing that I normally want to do, because if you want to add a CPL or an ND filter to your glass, then you also want to have the lens hood, because otherwise you might incur into some flaring. So let's try it on this camera. So here I am adding the magnetic adapter. It's a KNF magnetic adapter. It will eventually live on the glass, provided that I am able to use the cap and the hood. Yes. So guys, this is a great thing, because if you follow the channel for a while, you know that the only thing that I hate more than low, questionable image quality is having to switch glass every now and then. So eventually this glass will stay stick onto this camera. We also have a gasket, so it's weather sealed, and I can seriously think about dismissing the pinch cap and using the magnetic one, so that when I need to mount the ND filters or the CPL, according to if I have to shoot street photography or portraits or landscapes, then it's a simple, very simple switch. You remove the cap and put, in this case, the CPL, and most important, once I had the CPL mounted, I can still match it with the hood. So guys, stay tuned, because in the next few weeks I will be roaming around, starting again my street photography classes. I'm opening new classes as we speak for the long Italian summer, and I will start trying and witnessing the quality of this Tamron, if it's par to an older Zeiss glass, despite not being Zeiss, but with a newer development, because this glass is quite recent. So with that, I hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, please remember to like it, share it on your social media, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the reviews to come, and I guess I will see you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.